Hey, welcome to Moynihan Bass Fishes, and we just finished the 2022 Fort Francis Canadian Bass Championship on beautiful Rainy Lake. Jim Moynihan, Gunnar Meese, my partner for this year. 10th place, that's where we finished. We had our best day today, we moved up from 14th to 10th. I was kind of hoping that best day, which was like 2 pounds, a little bit more than 2 pounds better than our previous best day. But I think the fish bit a little better today, so the field as a whole maybe had a better catch. So we only moved up 4 places. Another pound and a half would have put us like in 5th place. It is what it is. We got a check, so that's good. Double thumbs up on the check. And I don't know. What are your thoughts, Gunnar?
It was an interesting day. Fortunately, the rain didn't come in at 11 o'clock like they said. We were able to run to our first area without rain, which was super helpful. And then the rain set in about 8 o'clock. And then what was really cool about today is we had an amazing bag in the live well with a call by 9:30. And then from 9:30 on, it was a test of wills. It was an absolute test of wills.
It was so. That's just. I really feel like. I mean, we had the weight that we weighed. We had at 9:30. Our check-in time was what, 3:30.
3:30.
So we had all that time to improve somehow, some way. So I don't know. I almost feel like I had a bad tournament, really, even though we finished 10th. I just. For a couple of reasons, I feel. For one, we didn't call up after 9:30. That just was a bad feeling for me. For two, personally, I didn't contribute very much to today's bag. I had 1 fish in the bag. Gunnar had 4 of the fish. So I just felt like I did not contribute to the bag. My fishing was off. Something was off. I don't know. Gunnar was hot with his spinnerbait. And thank goodness it is a team effort, but I don't know. I feel like I needed to put more fish in our catch, and we just never really got after 9:30. We never really got around the fish to even put them in the boat, which is contrary to what some of the other guys were saying that we're
all
talking
day.
to. Some guys are on them all day.
Tons of fish.
30,
Great day.
30, fish catches. And
Our day went as planned. Couldn't have heard that enough today. And for you folks watching, to be able to spend time in the boat with someone like Jim Moynihan from where I come from, and that's Minnesota, is daunting in itself. To be his friend is daunting in itself. And to think that you could, well, it's true. And I'm a bass nerd, okay? This is who I look up to because he's done it now for so many years. And we've had so many few people. Now we got the fighter effect coming on, and we'll see if he can do it successfully and be in the conversation for 25 years. I'm pretty sure he can, but
he's got the
we
talent.
don't absolutely.
Yeah.
But we don't have a lot of those people that we can emulate or be motivated by. Now the other thing that's really an unsung hero for me in this program is Joel Thrun. And for those of you who don't really understand being that partner that gets behind and pushes for as many years as Joel Thrun has, and how many times I've told myself, because I'm in the back of the boat a lot of times, I've had some amazing boat captains, nothing like Moynihan, mind you, but I have some amazing mentors, and to come up here, I was nervous and biting my nails and pins and needles. I was, because how do you plug into the history that you two have, that chemistry? It's so hard to find with team members, right?
Well, you were looking at it as, how do I fill the shoes of Joe Thrun?
Exactly.
Because him and I have been tournament partners for many years. Even back long ago, doing tournaments in Minnesota and then doing this up here and having all this success. So I can understand that.
Well, that's daunting.
Yeah. So
it is. And it worked out well.
Yeah, and honestly, let me tell you this. I was going into this, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, if Gunnar can just contribute 1 fish to the live well a day, that's all I ask. Well, dang it, he caught the big bass the first day, contributed fish the second day, Well, and not just the big bass, but you had other fish in the catch. The second day you had a couple of fish in the catch, and then today you had 4 of our 5. So, yeah, I felt like I was the one that was not contributing enough.
And that was my only hope. The other thing I'll tell you about this event, it's a grind. Okay? So Jim's used to all week practice, 3-day events, right? I'm coming out of remodeling, fishing a few derbies here and there, and then fun fishing on the weekend. So this is a grind, mentally and physically. We met the guys, okay, they're 20 years old, that finished 300 ounces in front of us, and they weren't gonna stay around for their check today. They were gonna go home and go to bed at 20, okay, 57, 53. And that's just, I don't know, but it's mentally and physically you have to be there. Now Jim works out quite a bit. I'm very physically fit because of the work that I do. Not preferred. I'd rather sit on the computer and make $100,000 a year, but I have to go grind it out for a lot less than that. But really interesting day.
Was interesting. It was. The morning was just perfect. We had overcast, glass, calm. My gosh, I just felt like the fish were going to be coming in the boat, and they did. And then it just ended for us.
That, and then, yesterday coming off of one of the coolest last cast catches of ever.
And we went there later in the day to that exact spot where I lost one. He caught his last cast fish.
Town.
Yeah, ghost time.
Ghost town.
Those fish were gone. Then these fish are notorious for just not staying put.
Fickle.
And then you talk to some guys that were in the top 10, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we've been on these fish for 2 weeks." I'm like,
Unbelievable.
I've never been on fish for 2 weeks out here for this tournament. It's just they're just always on, just always move. It's such a volatile, changing, dynamic fishery.
Right.
Which is why I love this tournament, because you really have to just be on your game, and you got to be you can't just count on one place and just camp there all 3 days. That is not going to work.
No.
Rarely. There's been, it really never have in all of the victories that Joe and I had, never did we catch all our fish in one place. For example, there was one year that comes to mind. We went out first day, we had about 20 pounds, Joe and I. We hit our first 3 spots, had 20 pounds. And then the second day, we go out, hit those 3 spots again. The next day, we had 0 weight. And that's what this lake does to you. So then it's like, okay, we just hit our 3 good spots from the day before. Now that put us in first place, 20 pounds, and now we got nothing. So it's really a volatile fishery, dynamic. The fish are in such flux because they came right off a mayfly. We got here right at the tail end of a mayfly hatch.
Team Mayfly was awesome.
First time I've ever seen a mayfly hatch here because of the super late spring they had. Because they always have this Fort Francis tournament the same week, so and the hatch is usually done. So, but yeah, that was really cool with the mayfly hatch. But I can save that for another video.
Right.
Just the way what these fish do is amazing. When we first got here, first day of practice, you go to any shoreline you go to, you just start pulling fish in, and that stuff just evaporated. There were still shallow fish to be caught. That's how we caught most of our fish, was shallow, and a lot of other successful teams did as well. But then we were talking to those one guys, and they're talking about live scoping them out deep.
Fish have been there for 3 weeks, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'll tell you what I do know is forward thinking in the future, and St. James River is what's next.
The St. James River?
That's what's next for you.
Or
isn't that what's next for you? It's not the St. James. It's you're going where? Where are you going? What's next?
The St. James.
St. James River is next.
It's not the St. James.
What is it?
I went to the James River like a month ago or whatever.
So what's next though? You're going to New York and you're going to fish what?